crochet pattern designers being replaced by AI? I wanted to see, so I've put it to the test and these were my results. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Megan and today we're questioning if crochet pattern designers are going to be replaced by AI. As we move into 2026, AI is becoming bigger and bigger by the minute. And with a new generation of crocheters coming into play, I wanted to see if we were going to be replaced. So starting off with ChatGPT, as it is my main go-to, and to be honest with you, I kind of use it more as a therapist than anything else. I asked it if it would create me a beginner-friendly chunky pattern using Chanel yarn and about 25mm eyes, and I said to it I wanted it to be beginner-friendly. So chat went off, and because I wasn't really being kind of affirming of what I wanted, it came back with a pattern that wasn't really that good and wasn't even usable. And if you weren't a crocheter, you probably wouldn't have been able to get anywhere from it. So with AI, it is all about prompts, and you have to make sure you get the correct prompt to get exactly what you want. I asked my AI to be a professional crochet pattern writer, and then I asked again if it would create me a beginner-friendly chunky cat pattern. So once it had done that, I had a quick glance through it and I thought, yeah, okay, this looks good. Put it in a PDF, send it over to me, and then I can actually start creating it. As I looked at this PDF, again, it looked absolutely fine, but if I'd been more thorough, I would have seen that actually there was quite a few mistakes. So firstly, it wanted me to make the legs and then build up, which made sense. It made sense, so I did that. And then when I got to the part where it was meant to have arms, in the PDF, the arms were so far at the bottom that really, if you know no sew patterns, you should do your arms and things first so that you can then sew them in as you're going, well, crochet them in as you're going. And because it hadn't asked me to do the arms yet, I was then left with no arms and I only had one ball of that colour yarn, so I couldn't exactly go and make it again and then crochet it in. If you were using a different colour for the arms, it probably wouldn't have been that big of a deal, but the point being is I wanted a beginner friendly, easy to understand, easy to follow, and in my head that would have been having your ears, your arms and your tail made first and then going on to make a leg and then your second leg and joining them together and working up. Anyways, I decided, you know what, it's not a big deal. I will just sew them on at the end and I will make the arms at the end. I kept going up and up in this pattern, and then as I kind of realised, I was thinking, hang on a minute, this hasn't even got a tail. And I looked at the pattern and there wasn't even a tail in there. So I was like, well, this isn't right. I went back to chat and was like, well, you haven't actually done a tail. The arms aren't in the right sort of position of where I want them to be. You haven't told me which stitches they need to go in. It was kind of a guessing game. Now, a beginner friendly pattern, you should have everything there so that the person can just go ahead, read it and know exactly what they're doing. So I kind of stopped there, and I also did not like the structure of how this was going. So this was the kind of the first example of what it wanted me to make. And you can see, you know, the legs were kind of right, but I felt like the hips were too big, the arms were in the right place, and they also weren't really that big. And this was now wanting me to make the head, and I just don't feel like there would have been sort of a defining neck, and it just wouldn't have looked right. So with all of this in mind, I went back to chat and asked it to update what we need. So we need a tail, we need the arms in the right position, and I need you to tell me exactly which stitch the arms are going in so that I can make it better than what I had there. So off it went again, and chat did make me another PDF, and this time it did have the arms at the beginning and a tail and the ears. And I thought, oh, this is good, this is good. I asked it to be a bit more structured for the neck, but I thought we'll see how we go on. So this was the second design. And actually, it wasn't too bad. You can see the legs and the arms were a bit bigger because I did ask that I wanted the arms to be a bit more popping out. I still wasn't a massive fan of this part because, again, this was going into the head and it didn't really give me much of a neck. The biggest problem I had was my tail. So the first tail it asked me to make, well, I will show you. I'm not comfortable giving that to anybody. Now, this is the second version because the first version was even worse than that. And then to make it even worse, it's slightly off center as well. Let's just get rid of that because no one needs to see that. It just didn't look like a tail. So I went back to chat and was like, okay, this doesn't look like a tail. I'm not going to go and give this to my child and be like, yay, have this cat that, you know. So it gave me a different version. I'm still not happy with that tail, and it's definitely something I would change altogether. At this point, I was starting to feel really frustrated. I'd used a lot of yarn, my hands were hurting, it had been hours, and I still wasn't getting the results I wanted. So I thought, let's strip it back and make it even easier. Have you guys seen like squishmallows where they're kind of just squishy in circles with the little extra bits on? That is what I then thought, well, okay, essentially you're going to be making a ball and I just need some little limbs. Let's see if you can do that. So yes, this design is cute, but it still isn't what I was looking for. Let me just move and show you. And I thought it would have been bigger, a bit more shape. The ears were too small. I mean, it is cute, but again, just not what I wanted. So I went back and said, okay, let's make bigger ears. Let's make it look a bit more defining. And this was the second version. When you take those ears off and legs, it looks like a fish. So again, not what I wanted. It isn't all a loss though, because from that beige colour one, I did get this little guy out of it. So that's the body, and these were the arms that actually, if you just put on here, looks a bit more like a cat, and it's kind of cute. So I just need to make a body for that. So overall, my thoughts, I don't think we are going to get replaced right at this moment in time because it still needs a lot of human input to get it where it needs to be. I personally haven't been able to make a pattern with it. Maybe there are people out there who can, but as it stands right now, at the moment we're safe, but I think in about 6 to 12 months for sure, this will be so advanced that you will be able to write patterns on AI. My question to you is, how do you feel about that? Would you purchase patterns that have been made by AI, or do you think it's just cheating? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, drop me a like, a follow, or hit that subscribe button. Thanks guys, bye.